Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's time for the post-match pint. We've just got back from Aberdeen where we watched Aberdeen 0, Celtic 4. I'm joined by Ryan, as usual. Ryan, often in these games, after such a taxing European game on a Thursday night, we have slow starts and we can let the game drift. Today there was none of that. Sum up that start for us.
It was a whirlwind at start. It was just one of those that we just often, like you say, there's an adrenaline dump where you can't find the right gear. You can't get out of maybe first or second gear after the European nights, because it's hard to go from playing like Lazio up to Pittodrie. You're playing under the lights, 60,000 fans, and you're up to Pittodrie where they cut down our fan allocation. So they cut down the ticket allocation for us, and you go up there and you think you just don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
It's often a mixed bag. Up to Pittodrie's never usually that easy. Aberdeen didn't turn up today and we strolled it, absolutely for the word go. We strolled it. Edouard was a different class after maybe not being at his sharpest on Thursday night. Different class today. Frimpong, phenomenal. Just the performances for every day across the park was out of this world, and really, really good to see that we go up there and put 4 goals past them in the first half after that European night to just put the game to bed. And the second half for that, we just continued to cruise through to the final whistle.
I think it's one of these games today where, again, it's a wee bit of trepidation always after a Thursday night. Going back to Livingston where we really didn't show up in any manner at all. And Pittodrie can be a tough place to go. We've got a phenomenal record. I think we're actually on our best run ever at Pittodrie currently. So we're playing really well up there. But again, you think about Thursday and then you think about the conditions today. It was blustery. It started to rain just before kick-off, and you think it could be awkward. Aberdeen had a good result, 3-0 at Fir Park last week. They've still got the 2 full-backs, 2 defenders basically playing in midfield, and you think they can make it difficult for you. But we just played them off the park. I think for the word go, I mean, we strolled around in that first half, just knocked it about, so much space. Midfield, the way some of the first touch passing, brilliant. Edouard breaks the deadlock, takes it for a throw in, 1-2 with James Forrest, and it's just such a good goal.
Practically does it all himself.
He's running at pace into the 18-yard box, jinks inside McKenna, I think it is, and just puts it in the bottom corner. It's such a good goal.
Aye, a phenomenal goal. And when you think like he genuinely did do most of it himself, that 1-2 give and go with James Forrest, and he was back onto the ball and running in, which he's so good at, with the ball at his feet,
holding somebody off behind him as well.
So good, so strong, so physical. But what's most impressive about Odsonne Edouard is the ability he has to get the ball out from under his feet, because that ball was slightly behind him when he struck it, and he posted stamped it right into the bottom corner. It couldn't have been any closer to the post, and no way the keeper was getting near it. So a phenomenal finish and such a beautiful goal, because he did so much of it on his own. He's just a wonderful player.
Aye, off to a flyer, which is massive in these sort of games. 4 minutes later, it's 2-0, and Jeremie Frimpong, there's a bit of debate again about the goal. It seems like people are trying to take goals off Celtic players left, right and centre. If it's no Edouard, it's Frimpong and Bayo, and they're trying to take goals off every day. But the wee man who was brilliant again today, and we'll talk about his performance in more detail, but it's Edouard again. Edouard at the heart of it again. Frimpong gets in down the right, gives it into Edouard, and Edouard plays a lovely ball across the face of the goal, and the wee man's there to finish it.
Aye, so it's almost kind of bundled in at the end, isn't it? And that's why obviously they're trying to kind of create a bit of furore around about it. But the wee man was absolutely blinding today again. 3rd professional start, and he just strolls through games. He just looks like he's, and I said to you earlier, he almost looks like a player of a kind of 25, 26 year old. If you didn't know the guy and you're watching the game from afar, you would be easily convinced that boy has played a lot of first team professional football at a reasonable level, because he does stroll around about the park, and the way that he linked up sometimes with Edouard today, and just the way that he's got a flair, and amazing to see him get on the score sheet, and he was elated, he was absolutely jubilant, he was just amazing.
He's so infectious. I think the energy he brings to the team as well, that was one of the reasons why I put him in my starting 11 prediction for the game. But it's 2 in a row, unheard of.
Go for 10.
Energy in the team, particularly after Thursday night's exertions, just to have it gives us a different dynamism on the right hand side of the park. And he is so young. It's only his third professional game. We know he's 18 years of age. Before the game today, everybody's saying, look, this will be a tough test for him. It's Pittodrie, as I said before, it's probably the second toughest away venue that we go to domestically. But his performances are at such a level that he's giving Neil Lennon a headache, because he's playing so well, you almost can't leave him out of the team. So he's putting himself in contention with El Ahmed, because
100%.
if you think ahead to Wednesday night, there's absolutely no reason why Jeremie Frimpong shouldn't start again.
100%, without question. And I think when you look at it and you think we've got Bauer's obviously right at this moment in time third choice in that right back
slot, and that shows you how well he's done.
It absolutely shows you how well he's done. But what it also does is it gives you confidence, because we've struggled in the right back spot, because all we had was practically Lustig for the last 3 seasons, and we knew that he was coming to almost the kind of twilight of his career, finished, and his legs were gone. And now we're in such a strong position, because both of those boys, El Ahmed and Frimpong, are ours. They're Celtic players, they're not on loan, and that's such a strong position to have, that those two are the best of the bunch. And quite rightly so. Frimpong, I think, should start on Wednesday, because he's done himself the world of good today, going up to Aberdeen, like you said, arguably the second hardest away ground that we travelled to. And he strolled it, absolutely strolled it.
That's the thing, he's not just coping,
no,
he's excelling. And that's great to see. As I said, after that, turned on the style. The whole first half, some of the build-up play was absolutely sublime. The third goal is maybe the pick of the bunch. I mean, I loved Edouard's goal, as I said already, but the third goal, there's so many passes in the build-up, so many passes. I think Vogic is involved throughout. I think
all the way. Forrest,
he seems to be the hub. He's at the hub of the whole move. I think he slides it in for Elyounoussi, who does a little turn, and Forrest is there to just nick it off him and finish it. That goal summed up how well we played in the first half, because it was top draw.
It was almost like a training. It was like a training day. It was just like one of the where you just running about the park, and so free, so like expansive. The passing, some of the neat 1-2 passing, some of the just the link up, everything about it today was just so smooth, so almost like effortless. We glided through the game, we coasted through the game at times, and it just looked so professional. We just did such a professional job in Aberdeen today, and they didn't turn up. All due respect, they didn't really turn up today, but we did, and we put on a show up there.
Listen, people will say, we had it last week after Ross County, that it's just Ross County, 6-0 against Ross County, we'll have tougher tests, and that's when you can judge the team. And Aberdeen were passive today, and they didn't play well, but you can't take away for the way that we played.
No,
I thought we were absolutely brilliant. We blew them away. And that's so encouraging after Thursday night. Touch on the fourth goal, Elyounoussi, you loved Vogic's part in that goal as well.
Phenomenal. Just how did he float that ball in between the two centre backs? How did he manage to get that in there between the centre halves? And then Elyounoussi, the way that he took it down, it was almost on his collarbone where he took it down, he controlled it and just delivered it right into the back of the net. Phenomenal. But the work up to that goal and everything that led to the goal, brilliant. And again, the whole game was so convincing, and you can't take it away from Celtic, because we performed at another level in terms of our play, our passing, our flair, the energy. And probably Frimpong delivered a lot of that energy today, because he wasn't playing on Thursday night, and he really brought a kind of rejuvenation at that right back spot. And a lot of what we did today was super impressive, given what we did on Thursday.
And at half time, 4-0, you're thinking record win, 10, everybody's shouting for more goals, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be a mental drop off. Like you can't help it, whether it's conscious, subconscious, whatever it is. There's a mental drop off when you're up 4-0 at half time. But we did still have a barrel of the chances in the second half, and it could have been more.
We created chances in the second half, but there wasn't that intensity there that we had in the first half. We weren't as clinical as we could have been in the final third, and that is natural, because coming off the back of a game like Thursday, which was probably really zapping on the players, both mentally and physically, and when it comes to how you stand up on the Sunday and go again, we did that in the first half, so it was taken care of. We didn't really have to worry about how the second half was going to go as long as we continued to play with a bit of flair and a bit of pass, just to kind of get the game moving forward for us. And it was never in any doubt. It was over at half time.
Aye, a huge win, massive win for us, and such a good performance as well, which is massively important. I think ahead now, our run of fixtures, we've got St Mirren at Celtic Park on Wednesday, we've got Hibs in the semi-final on Saturday, we're away to Lazio and then home to Motherwell before the international break. So the home games, our home form has been absolutely brilliant, so that's a good run of fixtures for us now. Obviously the Lazio game will take care of itself and we're in a good position in the group now, but that run of fixtures can really let us continue this momentum.
It does. It lends nicely to putting some points on the board. When we've discussed at the start of the season that we didn't think we'd drop a lot of points, or probably ourselves and Rangers wouldn't really drop a lot of points this season, because I think the quality of the rest of the pack hasn't been as strong. We did drop 5 out of 6 just before the last international break, which was a bit of a shock and probably a bit of a letdown for the boys. And now it looks like we can kick on and start to put our stamp down, and maybe over the next few games we can start to kind of take a wee step away. It was good to see the 4 goals going on the board today, because that gives a little bit more daylight between ourselves and the rest of the pack. And I think that at this point it's time to start to kind of put the foot down and really create a bit of daylight between us and the rest.
Aye, definitely. The one thing I will say though is I think we were all a wee bit too quick to judge the rest of the teams in the league, because they're showing that they can be competitive now. You think about Hibs, but us, Livingston, Hearts have taken points off Rangers. By all accounts, Motherwell look like they had a decent performance at Ibrox today, so I think there is going to be points dropped, and maybe we're a wee bit quick to judge the quality of the rest of the teams. Maybe they're finding their feet now. Think ahead then, Wednesday, it's another midweek game at home to St Mirren. Do you think we'll see changes again, or do you think we'll keep it? Obviously the semi-final's on the horizon, but do you think we'll keep it roughly the same?
I think we might see changes. I think that it was good to see Rogic in the side today. I think he did look better than what he has done of late, and he was probably involved in a little bit more of the creative stuff, which you would expect from Tom Rogic. So the doubt for me is because Christie becomes available again, and Christie for me is the number 10. He's the man, and I think if we're going to see a change, 1 or 2, I think Christie maybe slots back into that role there and gets ready for going again on Saturday for the semi-final. I'd like to see Frimpong stay in the side. After that, I'm not certain, because I think we have to still go with the strongest 11, and we still have to put as many boards and as many goals, as many points in the board, and as many goals in the back of the net as we possibly can. So I think we're going to go with the strongest 11. I think that includes Frimpong and Christie right now.
Aye, I think as well we've got guys coming back for injury. If you think about Cham, don't know where he's at. It's an ankle injury. Mikey Johnson's been out for a while. It's all a bit quiet, but I think he should be back soon. So Neil Lennon's got options there, as we keep saying, but I think rightly, as you said, we've got to keep a strong team and just keep this momentum going. That number 10 position is the only one where you think maybe Rogic could play on Wednesday, and then it lets Christie
rest for
be fresh for the semi-final. But it's good problems to have, and it's good headaches for Neil Lennon to have. Just before we round up today, we don't usually do man of the match in the post-match pint, but can you pick somebody today who was man of the match? I think Edouard get the sponsor man of the match.
Frimpong, all day long for me. He's so young, and probably has no right to play with the confidence and the ability and the drive and flair that he's done in his first 3. And we have to bear in mind, this is only his 3rd professional game. He's played at a decent level down in England for Man City. He played at a decent level,
but never
first team. And for him to have come in with the attitude that he's got, he trains really well, and I think players have been genuinely impressed with his ability for such a young guy. And that is, for me today, he was probably the standout, and I would give him a man of the match.
Aye, I mean there's absolutely no way you can argue with that. That's it for the post-match pint this week. Like the video, comment your own thoughts on today's game below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I think we can go over 20,000 this weekend, which would be absolutely amazing, but we need you to click the red subscribe button below if you haven't already, and if you have, hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the videos as soon as they come out. That will do us. We'll see you on Monday for the starting 11 prediction for the St Mirren game. Thank you.